Is it through innate language-specific abilities or through imitation of adults? Okay, before I continue speaking in English, I got a word last time that I should be speaking in Tagalog also para mas maintindihan ng iba sa inyo. So, magtatagalog or magtataglish ako ngayong gabi, simula ngayong gabi. Pero pagpasensya nyo na kung medyo nabubulol ako minsan kasi I'm more used to speaking in English than Tagalog or Filipino. So, anyway, ano sa palagay ninyo ang tamang sagot dito? So, una, ang technique natin, syempre, ano yung mga keywords dyan sa question, di ba? So, ito, nativist theory. Sino ang kilala nating nativist theories? Di ba? Yan si Noam Chomsky. Ano yung sinabi ni Noam Chomsky about language? Yung mga bata raw ay endowed na sila ng language capability. So kahit hindi mo na sila turuan, magagaya nila o makakapagsalita sila. Kasi nga, sa brain nila, meron ng tinatawag na language acquisition device. Yun, parang it's a program or module in the child's brain na yung sanhi o yung cause kung bakit sila nakakapagsalita or nakakagamit ng wika. So, base dito, nativist theory, paano nga ba natututo ang bata ng isang wika? How? How do they learn language or how do they acquire language? Okay, yung mga choices natin, exposure, environment, innate language-specific abilities, imitation of adults. Sige. Ano ang best answer natin dyan? Pwede na, okay. Bakit hindi ito ang tamang sagot? Exposure to language in the environment. Kasi nga, pag may exposure ka pa sa language environment, that means you need other people or you need stimuli from the environment para matuto ka ng language. Hindi yan yung main argument ng nativist theorists. At halintulad niyan yung letter C, yung imitation of adults. Yung imitation, okay, controversial ito, kasi parang may nagtanong last time. Yung imitation first, parang ano yun, kay Bandura yun, di ba sir? Parang minomodel. Yes po. And explain din niya ng Bandura, part yan ng kanyang theory. However, as I explained it to one of the reviewees, ang imitation is also a core component of behaviorism or the behaviorist theory. Bakit? Kasi when you si B.F. Skinner, yung imitation, nagagaya, may panggagayang nagaganap sa process ng language. So kapag paulit-ulit na na-expose yung bata or yung hayop sa input or sa stimulus, ibig sabihin kung ano man yung stimulus na yun, pwedeng tao, bagay, gagayahin niya kasi iniisip niya na yun yung tamang paraan. So kung napapansin niyo yung mga bata, mahilig manggaya, and sa panggagaya nila, di ba, nakakapag-produce sila ng language. Kahit minsan hindi nila naintindihan. So ibig sabihin parang walang deep processing sa brain, but it's just simple imitation kasi yun ang nakikita nila, yun ang stimulus nila. So, yan po, imitation, pwede din siyang sa behaviorism kasi component din siya, and also kay Bandura, yung social interaction or social interactionism theory. But the correct answer here is yung letter B, yung innate. Okay? Innate language abilities. Alright, so I hope malinaw sa inyo yan. Now let's go to number 2. How does the behaviorist theory of language acquisition, propose that children learn language. So ito naman, behaviorist. So kaka-explain ko lang. Sana, bihasa na kayo dito, no? Maraming behaviorists tayo na alam, di ba? Si B.F. Skinner, si Pavlov, Watson, yan, ilan yan sa mga behaviorists na kilala natin. So, isa-isahin natin yung choices. A ba? Through innate language. Wait, innate na naman? Di ba nativism yan? So we can eliminate this right away. Next, through exposure to language in the environment. Okay, may exposure to language. Pwede. And next, through reinforcement and imitation of language. Wait, di ba ang behaviorism ay ano yan? Association. Yun yung kay Watson. Tapos may reinforcement, punishment and reinforcement din. Kay Skinner. So, alin dyan? B or C ba ang tamang sagot? Sige. Medyo tricky siya, no? Okay. Kung di ba yung sinagutan niyo yung quiz, no? Kanina. Siguro ang lumabas doon na tamang sagot isa lang, di ba? If I'm not mistaken, ang tamang sagot na nandun ay yung reinforcement and imitation of language. Yes, tama din yun. Kasi nga may reinforcement and imitation of language. Okay? However, another acceptable answer ay yung letter B. Yes. So, bale, dalawa po ang tamang sagot dito. Okay? So, kung ang nasagutan nyo lang ay isa, okay lang yun. Pero next time, if you critically analyze the question and the choices, you should be able to spot na dalawa ang tamang sagot dyan. So kahit yung sa quiz natin isa lang yung in-accept, but if you know in your heart that yung exposure to language is also part of behaviorism, then very good for you. Okay? So yan po ang tamang sagot, B and C. Okay, next naman. Okay, so interactionist theory na tayo. Interactionist theory. Paano daw natututo ang bata based on interactionist theory? Siguro naman, madali nang tandaan yung interaction, no? Interactionist theory. A ba? Through interaction of the caregivers? Parang obvious yung tamang sagot, Okay, let's skip muna natin. B, through innate language. Wait, innate na naman, paulit-ulit, nativism yan. So, you can eliminate that. Through reinforcement, reinforcement imitation, kakabanggit lang yan. So, that's behaviorism. Right? And tanong is interactionist theory. So, ang tama sagot dito ay letter A. Okay? Interactionist. Ano ba yung sinasabi natin pag sinabing interactionist theory? Yung language daw na de-develop through what? Social and interactive processes. Ibig sabihin, kailangan mo ng tao para makipag-usap ka. Kung ikaw lang mag-isa yun, although tao ka, no? Kailangan pa bukod sa'yo. Kasi yung tao na yun ay iba sa'yo. So may iba siyang naiisip, may iba siyang views, yung gamit niya ng language, iba din. Yung vocabulary and grammar niya, iba din. So the way, the more exposed you are to other people, the way you interact with other people, mas lumalawak yung language repertoire mo, so to speak. And of course, as a future English teacher, no, dapat ikaw model ka, or dapat you should set a good example to your students of how to properly use or best use language. Kasi kung ano man ang meron ka, di ba, yun ang ma-adapt nila. So, important talaga na expert ka dun sa tinuturo mo or dun sa sinasabi mo. Okay? So, that's the interactionist theory. Now, let's move on to number 4. How does cognitive development theory of language acquisition propose that children learn? Okay, so mga theories lang. The first few questions all about theories. Para ma-master nyo siya. So, sana alam nyo na yung ibig sabihin ng cognitive, no? Cognitive, something to do with what? Process of the brain, okay? The brain processes, or the thinking processes. Like what? Problem solving, memory, perception, comprehension, and all those things. Those are cognitive or brain thinking processes. Pero dito, cognitive developmental. O, sino yung naalala nyo pag sinabing cognitive developmental? Sino? Si John Claude Van Damme. Of course, si John Piaget, ano? John Piaget. Di ba may 4 stages siya? Ano yung first stage ni John Piaget? Sensory motor. Next naman yung pre-operational. Next, concrete operational. And fourth is formal operational. Kung saan, hopefully, nandyan na kayo sa stage niya, no? Yung formal operational. Marunong na kayo ng abstract reasoning, problem solving, hypothesis testing, etc. Ba? Okay, so alin ang tamang sagot dito? Is it A? Interaction? Oh, kanina lang yan ah. Wait. Interactionist theory yan ah. So we can eliminate that. Innate nativism na naman. Next, obvious naman yung cognitive development, di ba? Cognitive, sige. Obvious ang sagot dito, di ba? Letter C. Sana umuo kayo, obvious. Pero, sa let, no, kung papahirapan kayo, syempre, babaguhin yung ilang mga words dyan, di ba? So, dapat maalam din kayo sa mga synonyms. Sa words. Total English majors naman kayo, or English, nagtuturo kayo ng English, pinag-aralan nyo English, gamitin nyo yung knowledge of synonyms, di ba? Anong pwedeng pamalit dito through cognitive development? Pwedeng palitan natin yan ng mind. Di ba? Mind. Pwede yun. Thinking, okay? Through mind, let's say, through mind exercise, through mind exercise. Pag yun yung option nyo, automatic na yun, cognitive part yun ng cognitive theory, right? So, aside from reviewing the questions, so dapat everyday marunong din kayong meron din kayong vocabulary notebook at sumasagot kayo ng mga vocabulary questions, especially mga ang tawag doon yung may analogy, di ba? Analogy na type of question. Gawin niyo din yun para na-enhance yung vocabulary ninyo. Okay, now let's move on to number 5. How does the social constructivist theory of language acquisition propose that children learn language? Social constructivism. Alam natin kung sino ang social constructivism, di ba? Si Vygotsky. Sino pa? Si Brunner. Okay, pwede. Sino pa? Social constructivism. Vygotsky, yung sa ZPD, di ba? Zone of Proximal Development. Yan. Part sila ng social constructivist theory. So, ang sinasabi sa social constructivism, ibig sabihin, language is developed sa mga bata kapag mayroong social interactions and what? Kapag may internalization, diba, of language. So, dalawa yun. Wait lang. Magpas. Dalawa yun, kapag may social interaction and internalization of language. So, pag sinabing ini-internalize yung language, ibig sabihin, tumatatak doon sa isipan ng mga bata yung interaction nila. Ibig sabihin, pinaprocess nila So merong parang reflection na nagaganap, merong deep processing sa kanila at nire-relate nila ito dun sa buhay nila in their context. So yan ang social constructivism. Now, anong tamang sagot? So, eliminate muna tayo. So, innate na naman. Obvious na yan. Social interactions, parang napaka-obvious. Kakasabi ko lang nun. And then C, exposure to language and environment. So, ito ay behaviorism. So, B ang tamang sagot dito, no? Okay. So, again, yung obvious parang, yung sagot parang obvious sa akin, no? Pero sa inyo hindi ko lang alam. Pero, again, malilito kayo kapag binago-bago yung mga salita dyan. Diba? So, mag-isip kayo ng parang mga synonyms ng internalization, tsaka yung interaction. So, pwedeng chatting, diba? Through chatting or through messaging. Diba? Pag ganun yung salita, dapat alam niya na. Part yun ng social constructivist theory. Okay? Now, let's go to number 6. How does the connectionist theory of language acquisition propose that children learn language? So, ano naman tong connectionist theory na yan? Connection? Ibig sabihin ba parang social interaction yan? Kasi, di ba, if you interact with others, you're trying to build relationship or connect. You're trying to make connections, di ba? So, dapat na tamang sagot dyan, may parang, social constructivism din. Ganun ba yon? No. The answer is no, okay? Connectionism is different from social constructivism, okay? Connectionism has something to do with the neural network of your brain, the neurons, the connections of neurons from one another, how strong those connections are. Kasi the stronger the connections are, the better your thinking and cognitive processes in processing or using the language or developing the language. So basically, yun ang gist ng connectionist theory. Okay? So mali ang sagot na innate na naman, ang reinforcement mali na naman yan. So ito yan, formation of neural connections in response to language input. Ano pang dapat malaman natin sa connectionist theory? Well, base dun sa module ninyo, no? Connectionist theory, parang later theory, no? Or recent theory kasi nga because of the recent developments in the brain scanning, diba? Yung mga pinag-aaralan na sa medical field, tapos sa mga experts na may kinalaman sa brain and sa linguistics, yung mga neurolinguistics, yan. Parang dyan sa kanila galing yung theory na yan. Mayroon daw, they argue that there are neural correlates to the language components. Diba? May neural correlate sa spoken language. May neural correlate sa written language. May neural correlate sa vocabulary. May neural correlates din sa grammar. So, in different parts of the brain, yan parang pag in-scan nila, iilaw kapag kunyari nagsasalita ka or nagsusulat ka ng poem, yan. Basta may parts sa brain mo na iilaw. So, yun ang argument ng connectionist theory. Alright, so that's letter A for number 6. Let's go to number 7. How does the linguistic universals theory of language acquisition propose that children learn language? So, linguistic universal. So, pinag-aralan na natin to before, di ba? Ano ba yung linguistic universals? Or anong pang tawag natin, ibang tawag natin sa linguistic universals? Universal grammar o yung UG. Okay, kanino yung UG? Kay Noam Chomsky. Okay? At si Noam Chomsky, ano siya? Nativist or innatist din, di ba? So, yan ang mga associations natin sa linguistic universals. So, we can eliminate choices here. A, Siyempre, hindi yan, no? Behaviorism yan. Exposure to language, behaviorism din. So, ito ang meron tayo. Innate knowledge of universal grammar. Okay? What else do you need to know about linguistic universals? Parang ang argument ni nila Noam Chomsky dyan is that whatever language you have, or the languages in the world have patterns and have structures that are similar to one another. That's why we're able to communicate, and that's why we're able to translate. Diba? That's why we have translators and interpreters. Kasi, kung ano yung structure nila, may similarities din tayo doon. Meron din silang subject, may concept sila ng subject, may concept sila ng verb, may concept sila ng object, may concept sila ng number of people or gender, di ba? Nag-i-exist din yan sa ibang languages. So, yun ang halimbawa ng linguistic universals. Alright? Now, let's go to number 8. How does the language acquisition device theory propose that children learn language? Yung magkakasunod na yung linguistic universals, related din yun dito sa language acquisition device, diba? Yung device na ito, hindi siya yung concrete physical device na nasa brain mo, no? Hindi yung ganon. Yung device na ito, para siyang it's like an abstract system or a tool in your brain na responsible for you to produce and understand language. Okay? So yun ang argument nitong LAD. So alin dyan ang tamang sagot natin? Reinforcement na naman? Exposure to language na naman? No. Eliminate natin yung B and C. So A po ang tamang sagot dito, ha? So kung yung sagot nyo pa iba-iba, no, sa nativism, sa innateness theory, sa linguistic universals, iba-iba yung sagot nyo, ibig sabihin hindi kayo consistent. Ibig sabihin wala pa kayong mastery ng concept kasi magkakaparehas lang itong mga konseptong ito. So pag iniiba-iba nyo yan, ibig sabihin hindi nyo pa na-associate o na-connect itong mga concepts na ito. So you need to do mind mapping if you can. That's also one strategy for you to take note or to process the input actively by doing mind mapping. Okay? Now let's go to number 9. How does the socio-cultural context in which students live impact their literacy development? Ito naman, ang topic dito ay literacy development. Okay? How does the socio-cultural context impact literacy development? Is it A, it is the most important factor? Is it B, it has a major impact? Or C, it has a minor impact? Okay, first, ano ba yung literacy development? Okay. Of course, this is the kind of development that has something to do with your ability to read, write, and view different media, whether new or old media. So that's the basic definition of literacy. Now, when you say socio-cultural context, of course, something to do with society and culture, where people live. Right? So, ano ang epekto nitong context, socio-cultural context na ito dun sa literacy development? So, I would argue na importante siya, no? Hindi lang natin alam kung minor, major, or it's the most important. Okay? But based on studies, ang socio-cultural context, we can eliminate C. Hindi lang siya minor impact, okay? It's not minor impact. It has a major impact. So that's letter B. O bakit hindi A, sir? It's the most important factor. No, because there is no objective measure of the different factors that impact literacy development. Pwede rin siya kasing personal or internal factor, meaning to say the motivation of the person himself or herself. Pwedeng yun din ang mas importante. So, there's no objective measure yet of ranking the different factors influencing literacy development. So the safe and best answer as of today is that it has major impact. Okay? So I hope clear yon. Alright, now let's go to number 10. If the primary focus of literacy education is the development of proficient readers and writers, then what should be the role of critical literacy? Okay. So, anong keywords natin? Primary focus of development of proficient readers and writers. Okay. What should be the role critical literacy? Anong ibig sabihin ng term na yan? Critical literacy. It's our ability to analyze, interpret, and evaluate written texts, okay? In the social, cultural, political forces that influence their distribution and their production. So that's critical literacy. There are 3 words there you have to highlight. Ano yun? Analyze, interpret, evaluate. Okay? Analyze, interpret, evaluate. So those are the components of critical literacy. You are going to do those things sa written text. Sa mga written text. Okay? So, anong tamang sagot dito? Is it A? Critical literacy is the goal of literacy education? Mukhang tama, no? It sounds right. Is it B? Critical literacy should be integrated into the teaching of reading and writing. Okay. Mukhang tama din. And C, critical literacy is a secondary focus. Okay. So, let's eliminate choices muna. Itong C, a secondary focus, so it's not that important, ganon? Is the development... Wait, you need to develop readers and writers proficient. Kung secondary focus yan, hindi sila magiging proficient readers and writers. You need full attention to reading and writing. So we can eliminate C. Okay, how about A? Critical literacy is the goal of literacy education. Wait. If the primary focus of literacy education is then what should be the role of critical literacy? What should be the goal? Parang it sounds right, no? Pero parang walang laman yung letter A, di ba? Critical literacy is the goal of literacy education. Okay, pwede, but it does not specify exactly what the answer should be to the question. Okay? So parang napaka-broad nitong letter A that it does not answer the question being asked. Okay? So that's a question mark. So the correct and best answer here is letter B. Critical literacy should be integrated into the teaching of reading and writing. So this one is aligned perfectly to the question. Because paano ka nga naman makaka-develop ng proficient readers and writers kung sa teaching mo ng reading and writing, di ba? Pinasulat mo lang sila, pinabasa mo lang sila without having them do the analysis, the evaluation, and the interpretation of these different written texts, right? So, the best answer to number 10 is letter B. Okay, let's go to number 11. If literacy education should consider the social and cultural context in which students live, then how should teachers approach their teaching? Okay, so you're now in the shoes of a teacher. Literacy education pa rin tayo. Pero you need to consider or you need to think of the socio-cultural context. Okay? So, paano mo ituturo ito? Is it A, teachers should only teach literacy? Only teach literacy in a cultural and social vacuum. Wait, ano yung vacuum na yan? Ito ba yung ginagamit natin pang higop? Of course not, no? Meaning to say, ibig sabihin, wala siyang context. Parang siya lang mag-isa sa mundo. Diba? Parang imposible yan kasi we live in a world where we are influenced by forces we see and we do not see. Diba? So parang napaka-imposible nitong i-teach mo yung literacy as if siya lang mag-isa, hindi influenced ng culture and ng society. So we can eliminate letter A. How about B? Teachers should consider the social, cultural context and adapt. Mukhang pwede, no? Adapt their teaching. Okay, pwede. C, teachers should focus solely on teaching. Wait, solely? Ibig sabihin siya lang? On teaching and teaching reading and writing skills? Wait, bakit siya lang mag-isa? You need to consider socio-cultural context nga. Reading and writing lang yon. So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo sinusunod yung literacy education. Okay? So, the correct answer here is letter B. Okay, wait lang, baka may message about the slides na hindi naman nag-move. Okay, there you go. Okay, so, yes, please ring me, no? Or tawagan nyo para malaman ko kung nag-move pa yung slides. Okay? Kung may problema. Now, let's move on to number 12. Based on sound principles of language, how should Mr. Tabalanza, I wonder who Mr. Tabalanza is, believe children learn language best? Okay. So sa module nyo, no, nakalagay dyan ang sound principles of language. Okay. May principles din ng literacy, ng culture, at ng literature. Pero yung tanong is principles of language. So, ano ba ang dapat paniwalaan ni Mr. Tabalanza? Is it A, by hearing words for things they find slightly interesting? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Hearing words for things they find slightly interesting. So pag hindi na interesting, hindi na sila makikinig? Ganon? Okay, question mark. B, by hearing examples of words and language structures sporadically. Ano yung sporadically? Ibig sabihin hindi tuloy-tuloy or papatak-patak, no? Papatak-patak lang siya. Hindi siya tuloy-tuloy. Question mark. Bakit papatak-patak lang? Next, through interactive and responsive context. Interactive, ibig sabihin may interaction dyan, no? Ibig sabihin, yung bata tsaka yung stimulus, there's a relationship between them, nai-engage yung bata, ginagawa ng bata yung task sa kanya, and then with people too, may interaction with others. So ang mukhang tama lang dito ay yung letter C. Pero yun ba yung tama sagot? Yes, letter C is the correct and best answer here. Because remember, one of the principles of language is social interaction, diba? Part yan ng social constructivist theory. Also align yan sa mga bata kasi kapag may interaction sila, nagiging responsive, yung context responsive, ibig sabihin, mas nagiging meaningful yung pinag-aaralan o yung natututunan ng bata. Mas nagiging relevant sa kanya. And of course, may effect yung interest and motivation dun sa kanyang performance sa pag-aaral ng wika, no? So, the best answer is interactive and responsive context. So kapag ikaw maging teacher, no? Pag nakapasa ka na, tapos nagpa-submit ka ng mga requirements sa students, as hindi mo sila binigyan ng feedback, parang hinayaan mo lang, so parang maisip ng bata, parang hindi mo naman binabasa or hindi mo binibigyan ng effort yung gawa nila, no? Hindi ka nagiging responsive sa kanila. So, it will demotivate them. So, I mean, do better. You have to do better as a teacher. Okay, let's go to number 13. How does the principle of children learn what they hear most impact language learning in Mr. Tabalansa's classroom? Okay, interesting ito. Kasi inisip ko tong question ito. Wait, how does the principle of children learn what they hear most? Kasi among all the language skills, no, yung four language skills, yung reading, writing, listening, and speaking, sinasabi na ang pinakamalaking influence sa language learning ay yung listening. Kasi, whether you like it or not, bukas yung tenga mo eh. Kahit natutulog ka, may maririnig ka eh. Diba? Madalas yan ang ginagamit mo, whether you like it or not. Unless na lang kung may impairment ka sa pandinig. Pero yun daw. So it's the listening skill that contributes most to language learning. And I believe in that. Actually, part siya ng thesis. So anyway, so anong tamang sagot dito sa number 13? Is it A? It means children will only learn a limited vocabulary. Wait, limited. Bakit limited vocabulary ang sinabi? Kung nadidinig nila, di ba? Bukas yung pandinig nila, bakit nagiging limited yung hindi ba dapat baliktad? Dapat more vocabulary? Okay, so parang question mark yan. Next, it means children will learn language based on what they hear frequently in their environment. So sabi, kung ano daw yung madalas na naririnig nila, yun ang mas tatatak sa kanila, di ba? Yun ang law of exposure na tinatawag. The more exposed you are to stimulus, so yun ang tatatak sa memory mo, di ba? Paano naman ang C? It means children will only learn language and only and then passive context? Wait. Only learn kapag in passive context, parang baliktad. Diba, you will learn in active contexts, hindi passive. Kasi pag passive lang, pasok sa kaliwa, labas sa kanan. So parang hindi nagstay dito sa gitna, dito sa brain mo. So, baliktad yan. So, we can eliminate C. And we can also eliminate A kasi hindi talaga siya limited vocabulary. The more you hear, the more you are exposed through listening and hearing, then the more you will learn language. Okay? So, letter B po ang tamang sagot natin sa 13. Okay, how about 14? How should Mr. Tabalansa view the importance of context in language learning? Context na naman, no? Siyempre, parang alam na natin na importante yung context sa language learning. We do not learn language in a vacuum, right? We always learn it with the understanding that we are influenced by many, many factors around us, right? Could be personal, internal, family, your neighborhood, your society, the laws of the land. Yan ang mga factors na naka-influence sa language learning. So, anong tamang sagot sa 14? Is it A? Context is only important in interactive contexts? Is only? Bakit only? Okay. Question mark. B. Context is important in both passive and interactive contexts. Let's skip. C. Context is only important in passive context. Wait, hold on. Past context is only important in passive context? Sounds wrong, no? Bakit? Pag passive context, ibig sabihin, as I said, no? Walang deep processing na nagaganap. So, kahit may context ka dyan, kung hindi naman pinaprocess ng bata yung language, yung pinag-aaralan, regardless of the context you have, it's not gonna work. So, we can eliminate letter C. Okay, how about letter B? Context is important in both passive. Wait, kakasabi lang natin. Hindi pwede itong passive. Eh dito may both. So, ibig sabihin, required ang passive and so, we can eliminate B. And the best answer here is letter A. Bakit A? Only important ibig sabihin, siya lang talaga. Dapat interactive yung context niya. Okay? Ibig sabihin, may palitan, may salitan. Okay? The child, the stimulus, the people around him or her must have an interaction together so that meaning can emerge, and the relevance and importance of language learning will be much stronger in the eyes of the child. So, yan po ang best answer natin sa 14. Alright, let's go to 15. How should Mr. Tabalanza best motivate his 9th graders in learning the process of writing? Okay, writing tayo. Okay. Motivation. Ano ang sagot dito? A ba? Bombard. Okay. Binuhos mo na, no? Binomba mo sila ng good examples of essays and reports from known writers. Parang okay siya, no? Kasi binibigyan mo sila ng napakaraming good examples, no? Parang sounds good, no? So parang okay. Check muna natin. B. Elicit from them the reasons why good writers follow a certain procedure. Parang okay din, no? Kasi parang you are encouraging them to think of the reason. So they have to brainstorm, they have to maybe relate their experience. So parang it activates some of the higher order thinking skills. So parang pwede rin. C. Allow them to freely write anything on a piece of paper. Well, free writing ang tawag dyan, no? Pero does it answer the question? How should Mr. Tabalanza best motivate his faith? Ang pinag-aaralan mo yung process of writing, di ba? Ano ba yung process of writing? Di ba meron tayong pre-writing, during writing, and then the post-writing. Sa pre-writing, may brainstorming, may word mapping, spider, basta may mga ganun pa, di ba? May drafting, ganyan. Sa during writing, meron kang the writing itself, and then sa post-writing stage naman, meron kang revising, may editing, may proofreading. So yun ang processes of writing eh. Dito sabi, allow them to freely write anything on a piece of paper. So parang nag-stick ka lang dun sa free writing stage or dun sa dun sa pre-writing stage. Hindi mo na you're not able to teach the other stages. So parang kulang itong C. So we can eliminate that. Okay. So A naman, bombard them. Wait. Mukhang okay, no? Kasi binombard mo sila. Pero ang question kasi is, you have to motivate them to learn the process of writing. Process of writing. Ito are products of writing. So this is the product model or the product approach, not the process approach of writing. Okay? Ibig sabihin, nagbigay ka lang ng good examples, hoping to motivate the students without really teach teaching them the nitty-gritty of the process of writing, di ba? So, hindi yan akma dun sa question mo. Ang tamang sagot dyan ay letter B. Okay? Follow a certain procedure. Ayun o, yun ang clue natin. Certain procedure process. Right? So, dyan matututo or mamotivate ang bata kasi they have certain steps to follow. Okay? Bakit yun ang pina-follow ng ibang mga writers, ng mga good writers? At pag ginaya nila yun, so we are assuming na mamamaster nila yung process of writing. Okay, let's go to 16. Mr. Tabalanza thinks that social cognitive processes influence language development. What is the best way for him to do in the classroom? Social cognitive processes. So, this is the combination of what? Social interaction and the cognition or the thinking processes. Alright? Is it A? He must encourage them to socialize as frequently as possible. Sans awareness of weight. Sans? Ano ibig sabihin ng sans? Preposition yan. Ibig sabihin yan without. Without. So, tama ba yan pag without awareness of sentence structures? Wait, kailangan mo ng cognitive eh. Kailangan mo nun. So, you need awareness too. We can eliminate A. Is it B? He must tell them that interacting with others sharpen their grammar knowledge too. So may interactions, ibig sabihin social yun. Sharpen their knowledge too. Knowledge of grammar too, which is part of cognitive process. So mukhang tama ito. And C, he must inspire them to be good models of the target language by speaking fluently and accurately. Mukhang tama kasi inspire, di ba? Inspire them. Good models of the target language by speaking and fluently and accurately. Wait, mukhang tama pero it sounds too good, no? Too good. But this is not the correct answer. Okay, why? Kasi if you are just a good model of the target language, that's just social, diba? Part ni Bandura yung modeling. Nasaan yung cognitive process na yung mga processes? Walang nabanggit dun sa option. Okay, so kulang siya. So, ang tamang sagot natin ay letter B. Let's go to 17. Active engagement is a principle that Mr. Tabalanza demonstrates to improve his students' linguistic competence. What do you expect him to do when teaching prepositions? Okay. To low proficiency first-year high school students. So, may mga qualifications tayo. Low proficiency students. First year na pero low proficiency pa rin sila. Ano ba yung mga characteristics ng mga low proficiency? Ibig sabihin na hirap silang makasunod, yung basic na basic concepts, hirap pa rin silang pag-aralan. Tulad ng prepositions, hindi pa rin nila, nalilito pa rin sila kung anong tamang gamit ng in, on, at. Yan. So, anong tamang sagot natin? Is it A? Employ total physical response. B? Utilize new technology and interactive materials. C? Allow students to read the books they like. Is it A? Pag total physical response, ito yung kay James Asher, di ba? Ito yung papagalawin mo yung mga bata, patakbuhin mo, para mas, kasi nga pag, the assumption is that if they use their body, it will also activate or engage their language processes. Okay? So, parang pwede siya, no? Especially sa low proficiency, di ba? Pag low proficiency, parang walang ganang mag-aral, hindi tutok masyado sa cognitive domain eh. Parang they're more on action, paggalawin mo din sila, para parang mas stronger yung connection nung content, which is really cognitive, and then the physical manifestation. B, utilize new technology and interactive materials. Okay yung technology tsaka interactive materials, pwede rin siya, no? So, let's skip that. How about C? Allow students to read books they like. Wait, sabi kasi dito active engagement. That's the principle. Kailangan maturuan ng prepositions. Anong mangyayari kapag pinagbasa mo lang sila? Okay, nag-enjoy sila. Siguro engage sila kasi like nila yun. Pero natuto ba sila ng prepositions? So hindi. Hindi natuto ng prepositions kasi baka yung attention na lang nila is about the structure, parang yung plot ng book, di ba? Not really explicitly on preposition. So, what's the best answer here? The best answer here is letter A. Total physical response. Kasi nga, the characteristics of low proficiency students, they need to do something more para mas concretize yung understanding nila ng concept ng preposition. So, pag sinabi mong, put the bag on the table. So, pag gagalawin mo sila, diba? Padedemo mo sila kung paano ilagay yung bag sa table. On the table. So, yung understanding nila ng on, mas stronger na kasi nagawa nila eh. Nag-participate sila. So, that's letter A, 17. 18, how do you ensure that the lesson for your English class is of high quality? This is a big question, high quality daw. Is it A, by creating a TOS or table of specification that is aligned with other subject areas? Okay. Is it B, consulting experts in the field? Pwede rin. C, by basing it on the objectives of the curriculum. English class ito English class. So A, aligned with other subject areas. Paano alignment yan? Ibig sabihin ba kung yung TOS ng math align sa TOS ng English? Anong itsura nun? Maybe the quality. So, does it ensure high quality also kapag aligned yung math? What if my subjects na they are like physical education or music? Paano naman yun sa English? So parang medyo tricky siya, no? So we can eliminate this kasi hindi siya, it's not a solid answer or argument. Although possible siya na may alignment, good na may alignment, pero how about the other subjects too? Kasi hindi binanggit yung other subject areas here specifically. How about B? By consulting experts in the field. Yes, you can consult experts in the field para malaman mo yung quality niya. Pero this will take time and it could be expensive too, right? So the best thing that you can do is letter C. Diba? Malalaman mo naman yun sa objectives ng curriculum. Kapag sinusunod mo yung objectives ng curriculum mo, di ibig sabihin, aligned ka doon sa curriculum at quality ang iyong English class. Okay? Siyempre, malalaman mo yan kapag inisa-isa mo yung objectives, di ba? So, kung yung objectives ba, manifesting doon sa class activities mo, tsaka doon sa assessment mo, or iba. Kunyari, yung objective mo is by the end of the lesson, students should be able to write a 3-paragraph essay, for example. Tapos yung pinagawa mong assessment sa kanila, public speaking. Hindi na aligned. So hindi quality yun, hindi high quality. So 18, C is the answer. Now 19, which of the following situations demonstrates the principle of engage and collaborate within a community of practice? Okay, ito yung principle engage and collaborate within a community of practice. Is it A, Ms. Demata asked students to go to the library one by one and research on collaborative practice? Wait. Okay, nagpuntahan sa library. Sorry, isahan lang, so individual. Sabi dito, engage and collaborate. Siguro nalito kayo kasi may collaborative practice. Okay. So, ayan na, pampalito yan. So, mali ang A. Kasi nga, isa lang eh. So, ibig sabihin, it's an individual task. Walang collaboration. Is it B? Mr. Abrigana divides students into 3 groups. Okay. Based on their needs. Oh, parang okay yan. Kasi nga, 3 groups, no? Based on their needs and interests. So, student-centered. So, pwede. C. Mr. Tabalansa pairs up students to work on their speeches. Pairs up, so dalawahan. May engagement ba doon and collaboration? Pwede rin. So, anong tamang sagot, sir? Dalawa po ang tamang sagot dyan. Dalawa. B and C. Okay? So, I guess sa form sa quiz nyo naman, I think, acceptable yung 2 answers. So, if you answered 2, then good job. Now, let's go to 20. Miss Ampon gets mad whenever her students make grammatical mistakes. In responding to her questions, which concept of language is she demonstrating? Oh, gets mad, naggalit. Dahil may mistakes, parang naalala ko yung teacher ko nung elementary. Parang napak-grammar Nazi, ano? Sarap, ano? Ang sarap kagatin. Anyway, so what's the correct answer? Is it output modification? Wait, output? Iba ang output sa input, no? Okay, yung input, ito yung mga pwedeng written or spoken na nanggagaling sa environment, right? So ngayon nagsasalita ako, naririnig nyo yung sinasabi ko. Yung naririnig nyo, tawag dyan input. Okay? So that's from the listener or audience perspective or reader's perspective. Pag sinabi namang output, syempre, kung ano yung lumabas, diba? Kung ano yung pinuduce. So, from the perspective of speaker, nagsasalita ako ngayon, so this is an output for me. If I'm talking, yan. If I write an essay or poem, that's also an output. So, yun ang kinaibahan nila. Ha? So, ano dyan? Output ba or input? Wala sa kanila. Because that's not the question eh. Because yan ang question. Question is, which concept of language is she demonstrating? Gets mad. Gets mad whenever students make grammatical mistakes. So, pag nagalit ang teacher, ibig sabihin, it's a signal. It's a signal that you are being corrected by your teacher. Okay? At syempre, kapag naintindihan mo yung signal na yon, you will do the necessary adjustment or correction. Okay? So we call that error correction. Now let's go to 21. Miss Ampon catches her student Giovanni saying the following: "It's best to stay here for you and I." She then said, "Oh, you mean it's best to stay here for you and me?" What concept is she demonstrating? Okay, concept of language ito. Is it explicit correction? Di ba pag sinabing explicit correction, ibig sabihin, ganito yan eh. No, you're wrong. It's for you and me. Ganon ang explicit correction. Diba? Modification naman. So, modification, that means, di ba, changing or something. Mukhang pwede. It sounds correct. Okay? Ayan, paano ang recast? Recast is also a form of modification or change, but in a way that you will repeat the sentence or statement except for the wrong part. Yun ang recast. Yun, okay? So, ang tamang sagot natin dito ay letter C, recast po. Diba? Inulit mo yung sinabi niya, pero binago mo or tinama mo yung maling part ng statement. So, that's recast. Modification is too broad or too general. Okay? Now, let's go to 22. As a subscriber of ecological theory, which of the following should you emphasize? Is it A? Una muna, ano ba yung ecological theory? Naalala nyo pa ba si Bronfenbrenner dun sa professional education? O, di ba siya yun? Ibig sabihin, meron daw tayong iba't ibang spheres of influence, di ba? Merong sa family, neighborhood, school, society, the relationship among these social factors or social actors. Yan. Yun yung kay Bronson Brenner. Okay, so what's the correct answer? The complex interaction among family, school, and society in influencing language. Merong family, may school, society. So mukhang tama. Check natin. B. The complex interaction among family members and classmates and in influencing lang. Mukhang tama rin kasi may family naman, may classmates, so sa school. C. The complicated nature of relationships among learners and teachers and linguistic competence. Mukhang okay din. May learners, may teachers. Po, nakakalito na siya, no? Pwede lahat sagot. Pero anong pinaka-best dyan? The best dyan, syempre yung pinakamaraming levels na nabanggit. So, itong A ang tamang sagot. Kasi meron ka ng family, may school ka pa, may society ka pa. So, tatlo yun. Ito, dalawa lang. Alright, so that's 22. Let's go to 23. Based on the sound principles of literacies, okay, principle of literacy tayo, which should Miss Beria do in relation to reading and writing? Okay. A. Provide activities that enable students to produce an output based on what they have read. Mukhang okay naman, no? Produce an output. Okay. So may reading siya dito, may output pa siya. Yung output, pwede siyang di ba? Written text or, written material, pwede. So, check natin. B. Create a task that combines both reading and writing. Okay. Meron siya. At the same time daw. Both reading and writing at the same time. To make classroom time, Create a task that combines both reading and writing at the same time. So, paano yun? Parang nagmumultitask yung mga bata. Reading, nagbabasa and then nagsusulat. O pwedeng they're taking notes, no? Habang nagbabasa, they're taking notes. Pero how effective is that? So, parang nahahati yung attention nung bata dun sa task nila. So, medyo, suspect. Now, C, explain the importance of reading-writing connection to oral communication in the modern world. So, may importance naman talaga ang reading-writing connection to oral communication in the modern world. But is this the best answer to the question? Well, the best answer here is letter A. Okay? Kasi dito, part of sound principles of literacies is for the students to come up with something. So, parang siyang outcomes-based education, no? So, you have the reading part, and syempre yung writing part is your output na. So, as I said, it could be an essay, a poem, or a brochure, or any material that people will have to read. So that's the best answer for 23. Now, how about 24? Which of the following activities will engage students in digital literacy? Okay, in digital literacy lessons the most. Okay, so digital literacy, of course, it's your ability to manage or handle or read, manipulate digital content, right? Ito yung nakikita nyo sa Facebook, sa social media, sa internet. Yan ang digital literacy. Is it A, by delivering speeches about the value of technology? Wait. Engage mga students pag nag-deliver sila ng speeches? Delivering speeches yun eh. Ang tanong yung digital literacy. This is oral communication. So, parang suspect siya, no? Hindi siya tumutugon sa question. D, incorporating games, multimedia. Parang ito yun, no? May games, may games sa sa internet, multimedia, AI, artificial intelligence, naku, boom na boom yung AI na yan. So parang ito tamang sagot eh. Paano yung C? By adding games after a reading activity. Okay, so pwedeng yun. So ano klaseng games? Online or physical? So we're not sure. Although pwede siya, pero medyo question mark. Ang sure na sure tayo dyan ay letter B. Kasi ito talaga yung digital literacy. Okay? Now let's go to 25. As an English teacher, Mr. Tiamson believes that linguistic competence is insufficient in the student's overall development of language. Which concept is he pertaining to? Insufficient daw yung linguistic competence lang. I think napag-aralan natin to, no? Kailangan may ibang klase pa ng knowledge. Is it whole language? Okay. Is it critical literacy? Alam na natin yon. Multiple intelligence? Ito yung kay Howard Gardner. Di ba? May 9 yan. So, anong tamang sagot natin dito? Well, sa quiz ninyo, dun sa form, no? May isa lang yung tamang sagot. But. Okay? Some update, no? Kung napili ninyo ang whole language at multiple intelligence, pareho kayong tama. Okay, yan po ang tamang sagot. Kasi ano ba yung whole language? The whole language is this approach that emphasizes that language is not only learned through linguistic knowledge or linguistic competence, but also through socio-cultural context. Yan. Motivations, yung emotions. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng whole language. At ganun din sa multiple intelligence, di ba? Hindi lang naman linguistic intelligence meron. Pwede rin makatulong yung interpersonal, di ba? Relationship with others in developing your language. Pwedeng physical or bodily kinesthetic kapag that's your personality or that's your style. Pwede rin yun. So, tama ang whole language saka multiple intelligence. Now, 26. If Mr. Tabalanza aims to improve the media literacy of his fourth-year high school students, how would he go about it in the best possible way to reach the highest cognitive level? Ito HATS to, ha? HATS, di ba? Ano yon? May application, may analysis, may evaluation, creation, di ba? Ito, media literacy daw. How would he go about improving the media literacy using yung HATS to reach the HATS? Is it A, expose them to different media outlets and have them write a descriptive essay? Okay, may exposure. So ano yan? Parang lower order yan, no? Parang yung sa Casey Apansa, yung knowledge mo lang. And then have them write a descriptive essay. So may output, no? May creation siya, no? Pero it's a descriptive essay. Yung tanong, media literacy, media. Descriptive essay lang to. So, hindi siya tumutugon doon sa tanong. We can eliminate. B, ask them to compare different commercials. Media ba yung commercial? Yes. Express their thoughts in class. So may comparison tayo, di ba? So ano yan? Comprehension, expressing thoughts. So giving opinion, it could be comprehension also. So parang hindi niya na-reach yung highest cognitive level, hanggang comprehension lang siya. C naman, create. Creation, no? TV ad, media yon. Yun ang tamang sagot kasi may creation level, no? So C is the best answer. 27. Some students are struggling to understand the speech of an American speaker who visited their school. What is the implication of this to Mrs. Ampon's teaching? Okay, may American speaker bumisita. Na-challenge yung mga bata, dumugo ang ilong, no? Nag-nosebleed. So anong implication niyan kay Miss Ampon? Is it A, she should keep on reminding the students to listen more carefully? Wait. Listen more carefully, remind them, hindi nga nila maintindihan. So kahit anong remind mo, Wala rin, kasi hindi ka nagtuturo ng specific na steps. Paano nila ma-unpack yung speech ng American speaker. Hindi pwedeng ganun lang, no? You just keep on reminding, no? Just listen carefully. Ibig sabihin, there's something wrong with their fundamental skill of listening. So, hindi siya ang tamang sagot. B, she needs to tell the speaker to slow down his speech until everybody, wait. Pwede yun, no? Pwede mo, pero hindi kasi yan nangyayari sa parang, mahirap gawin niya sa totoong buhay. Kasi hindi mo naman pwede sabihin sa lahat ng American speaker or other speakers na, slow down. Diba? So, as a teacher, kailangan mong gumawa ng paraan para, to teach explicitly the steps and processes to unpack yung authentic input ng speaker. So, ang tamang sagot natin dito ay C. Okay? Ayan ang decoding skill. Kailangan maturuan yung mga bata ng decoding skill para ma-unpack nila or ma-breakdown nila yung mabilis, yung parang squished sound ng American speaker. Okay? Now, 28. Some students are struggling to learn the difference between the use of in and at. After a diagnostic assessment, Mr. Tiamson finds out that they also easily forget the lecture given an hour before. Okay, may forgetting tayong nagaganap dyan. Struggling to learn. Okay, yung in and at. Question, what's the best suggestion in this situation? A, make the lesson stick by using concrete examples and do more drills. Parang okay, no? B, make the lesson as fun as possible. Parang okay din. And C, make the lesson dynamic. Parang okay lahat, no? Ano ba yan? Nakakalito? Alright, so ano ang trick dito? Syempre yung mga keywords. Nagsastruggle sila sa in and at. Okay? Pero, after diagnosing them, napag-alaman ni Mr. Tiamson na may problem sila sa isang cognitive process which is yung memory. Diba? So parang hindi natutuloy sa long-term memory. Puro lang sila short-term memory, no? So ano ang makakatulong dun sa short-term memory ng mga student? Ang best answer natin dyan ay letter A. Okay? Letter A. Bakit? Paano mag-i-stick ang lesson sa kanila? Kapag yung example ay concrete, nakikita nila na hawakan physical. Tulad ng total physical response, di ba kanina? At kapag pinaulit-ulit mo yon sa kanila. Okay? So dun ang best way para ma-address mo yung memory problem nila in terms of learning in and at. Although okay naman yung B and C, no? A more specific answer and the best answer is letter A. 29. What is the implication of sociolinguistics to the teaching of written grammar? Okay? Written grammar. Ano ba yung sociolinguistics again? Last time, di ba? Sociolinguistics is what? How language is used. Okay? How language is used to achieve the communicative goals of speakers in a given context. Yan ang sociolinguistics. Is it A? Writing a letter requires a good command of the rules of mechanics. Wait. Yung rules of mechanics, okay lang din yan, no? Sa writing. Kaso sabi, implication of sociolinguistics, saan dito ang sociolinguistics na part? Parang linguistic lang ito, no? So kulang ang A. B. Writing a resume requires an understanding of its reader. Parang okay siya kasi may writing of resume ka. Okay, so that's the linguistic part. It requires your knowledge of the language, the mechanics. At alam mo din dapat yung kung sino ang reader mo at ano yung purpose mo. Yun naman yung social or yung social na part. Okay? So parang yan, okay. C, writing a proposal requires the structure. So parang ito yung linguistic na part. Hanggang paragraph organization lang. So wala siyang social na part. So kulang din siya. So best answer natin dyan ay letter B. And last, what is the implication of social linguistics to the teaching of spoken grammar naman? So spoken, is it A, asking for salary raise requires knowing the power dynamics between, okay, asking, so that means yan ang spoken grammar mo. Dapat alam mo paano makipag-usap. Kaso, mayroon siyang power dynamics. So, ikaw yung humihingi ng raise. So, dapat ikaw yung mapagpakumbaba, no? Parang ikaw yung may kailangan. So, dapat alam mo yung relationship o yung dynamics na yon para ma-achieve mo yung goal mo. So, parang okay itong A. B, delivering a presentation needs focus on the key ideas as well as the relevant examples. So, meron kang spoken grammar dyan. Nasaan ang social na part? Social linguistics. Wala. So, kulang siya. C, performing on stage. So, this is spoken grammar. Requires proficiency in the methods of acting and artistry and emotions. Okay, so parang ano yan, no? Performance technicalities sa stage. So, hindi siya social linguistics eh. Walang binanggit na about the relationship of the viewers and yung the one handling the stage production. So, kulang din siya. So, ang tamang sagot dyan ay letter A. Alright, so I think that's the end of our rationalization of the 30-item quiz for tonight. I hope you learned a thing or two from me. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. I'll try to answer them if I have time tomorrow. And I will be sending you the next module tomorrow. And I guess I think I also have a schedule for you tomorrow. And the following day, it's going to be Teacher Anne who will handle you, hopefully. Let's cross fingers. But that's it for me for now. Thank you so much and hope to see you next. Hope to share with you knowledge again next time. Bye-bye.
Uy, tapos na?